Hi everybody, welcome back. Hope you're all keeping well. This week we're going to be installing point motors on the layout. I've got a little tool here. It's a little jig to help installing the Seep point motors. So we're going to give that a go and see how it works out. This is from Scenic3D. I'll put a link to their website down below so you can check them out. But this should make fitting the Seep point motors a lot easier. So let's give it a go. So here's the point we're going to fit the Seep point motor to. This is what it looks like before it comes out of the packet. And then I have one here wired up, ready to go in. I've done several videos on fitting point motors and that sort of thing before for the wiring. So I'll link them down below and at the end so you can see them. This is purely about using this tool to see if it makes it easier to line up and fit it. So we just need to take the tool. Okay, you can see it's got grooves there. That's to hold the blades in a central position. So if we just slide that on, get it lined up. It'll be easier coming this way. There we go. So that's it in position now. I'll take you in for a closer look. You can see there how the blades are in a central position. And over there, you can see the center hole that the rod from the point motor will come up through. So now what we've got to do, that this is lined up, is these holes here and here. We're going to drill just a 1 mil hole through. So I'm going to mark that and then mark that as well. So that's that done. Now obviously if I hadn't already fitted this point and drilled a hole already for this, I could use that to go down through the center hole, drill a little hole and then drill a 10 mil hole up through there for enough space for this to throw. As I say, I've done this in other videos. I'll link them below so you can see them. This is just purely to see how this tool works. Okay, so now we'll flip the board over and we should have 2 holes underneath, and then we can go about screwing the point motor in and see how it goes. So now I've taken the jig away. You can see there's the 2 holes. I've got the board up on its side, so if we go around here, you can see there's the 2 holes coming through. I've marked them in a pencil. So now we'll get the point motor and screw it in place. Also, I'm going to have to move these wires, like I said in the last video. So I'll move all these out of the way and we'll get the point motor in and screw it in. So I've cleared the wires out of the way so we can go on and fit the point motor. Now the holes that have been drilled through from the top are to screw the point motor in place. So using these holes here and here on the point motor, and that will give the point motor the correct alignment, so when it throws, it will throw the blades on the point the correct way. It's not going to be off angle at all, so it'll give a nice clean throw. So I'm going to actually do that off camera because I'm using an old point motor. This is cut short, so it's a little more fiddly to get in to the drawbar on the point. So instead of you listening to me swear while I'm trying to get this on, I'll do it off camera and then I'll show it to you when it's done. So there we are, it's screwed in place. It gives it a nice throw now. It all seems to be lined up and the point is moving correctly. So what I'll do now is I'll wire all this up and then I'll give you a brief overview of the wiring once I've it done so you can see where everything goes. As I say, there's more detailed videos on this which I'll link down below and at the end. But I'll do that and then we'll come back and we'll see if we make sure it works correctly. So here's the wiring for this section complete. I know it looks a bit daunting, all these wires going everywhere, but I'll try and spend a couple of minutes now just going through the wiring, trying to explain that. I have done more detailed videos on installing points and that sort of thing, which will have a lot more information on it, so I'll link them down below and at the end. But briefly, we have the DCC supply coming in here, marked in yellow, and this is taking all the feeds off to the track. So the other end of this will be connected to the DCC controller, supplying the power, and each bit of track has a set of droppers on it connecting to this. So that's simple enough. 2 wires, DCC. Remember with DCC, the whole layout is powered and the movement is controlled by the chips, as opposed to the old DC system where you'd have to have separate circuits for each circuit of track. Then we have the point motors here. These are Seep point motors. They have a switch on them to control the priority of the Electrofrog. So on these points, the frog is electrified, so depending which way the blades are deployed, that determines which priority is set on the frog. So quite simply, we have the point motors here. We have a wire from this end and this end going off to the switch. I'll show you a switch in a moment. We have the green wire going off to the frog, and then we have a red and black wire going into the bus to get the power for the DCC to then send it out to the frog. And then we have a common neutral, which goes off to the power supply, which is the black marked bus wire here, with the power for actually switching the solenoid point motor. Brief overview there. Let's show you just one of the switches. So here's a little panel I've made up. These are called momentary switches, and you can see on the back there. So one wire would go on there. This is the live, and then the other wire to switch the other way. And they're just switches that you flick down and they spring back to the center, depending on which way you want to throw the point. That is basically an overview of the wiring for a DCC layout using solenoid point motors. I know it looks like a mess, and some of the eagle-eyed of you may have spotted that I have the live going into the negative bus. That's simply when I fitted these point motors, I put them in the wrong way around. So the negative has to go into the positive, and the positive has to go into the negative. Yeah, I think that's right. By mistake, should have taken those off, switched them around, put them back in again, but I was just too lazy. So what I'll do on here is, like I do on every board, is I will make some notes on here. So I can say the yellow is the DCC supply, the black is the point motor supply, and then just make notes on some of the wiring just to say these are wired the opposite way around. Just so if I'm fault finding, I can see it and it's there. As well as that, I have these videos to look back on to see what exactly I've done. So there we go, there's another video done. Mostly about this little jig from 3D Scenics. It comes with full instructions on how to use it. Yes, I recommend it, it's really good. In fact, they're so good. They do one for a double slip and for a 3-way point. I've ordered them, just got word today they've been delivered. So I'll go and pick them up later. So I definitely recommend these. I'll put a link to Jeff's website down below. Do check him out. He does jigs for other types of point motors as well. So if they're as good as this one, they'll be fantastic. Can't recommend them highly enough. So a big thank you out to my channel members and patrons whose names are scrolling here. If you'd like to become one, hit the join button or check the link to Patreon down below. I'll pop a video here and the old subscribe button in the middle. So if you'd like, hit the subscribe for me. Give me an old thumbs up. Very much appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.